Good evening, everyone. Welcome in to Vol Society Live on this Monday night, New Year's Day. And of course, this is our official post-game show, although a few hours late. Post-game show of the 2024 Cheez-It Citrus Bowl as the Tennessee Volunteers defeats the Iowa Hawkeyes 35-0. There you see Nico Iamaleava wins the MVP of the Citrus Bowl. And Carlos says, hello from Memphis. Way to go, Vols. Hello to you, Carlos, on this Monday evening. Like I said, you can be like Carlos right here. This is your show. This is your chance to send your comments, questions, celebrations. Big night, big win for Tennessee, and a great start to 2024. Fantastic game overall. Nico Iamaleava, as I mentioned, wins the MVP. 12 for 19, 151 yards, one passing touchdown. Ran the ball 15 times, 27 yards. Of course, a lot of those were sacks on those rushing yardage. Ended up with 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. 4 total touchdowns. Ended up winning the MVP. Like I mentioned, 35-0 the final score in the Citrus Bowl. I just got to say this. For what we've heard about Nico for the last 22 months now, and just that anticipation to debut and wondering if he was going to, see a lot of playing time this year. And he had some playing time, but probably not as much as we thought. This was really worth the wait. And Tennessee did a great job preparing him for this game today. They did a fantastic job, recognizing what kind of defenses Iowa defenses that you were going to face, and just overall, just the preparation went in very well. I mean, was it perfect? No, but Tennessee went down there and got the job done and came away with the win. And as far as Iowa goes, man alive, it is very surprising this team is 10-4 now. This does not look like a 10-win team to me, and I know the Big Ten is a lot different than what we see in the SEC week in and week out, especially in the Big Ten West, where it's just not a great division to play in. Now, that's changing all next year. But, man alive, Iowa did not look like – they just did not look inspired to play at all, and just did not look like a 10-win team at all. I have no idea how they got there. But anyways, good for the Vols to get the win. We'll kind of run down the stats here. As I mentioned, Nico, 12 for 19, 151 yards, 1 touchdown, QBR of 80.4, along with the 3 rushing touchdowns. As I mentioned, Dylan Sampson, what a game he had today. 20 carries, 133 yards. We mentioned this morning in the pregame show. We thought Dylan Sampson, for the most part of the season, was the focal running back. And, yeah, we had Jalen Wright. He did go over 1,000 yards. Jabari Small contributed too. But Dylan Sampson, in our eyes, was the most consistent throughout the whole season, and he proved it right there today. He did have a drop pass on the shuffle pass that could have went for a bigger chunk in play, and that's kind of – and I'll get to a little bit more of that in a moment. But Dylan Sampson, I cannot wait to see what he does next year. I thought Cam Selden did a good job today. 13 carries, 55 yards. This offense with Nico under the helm looked like a completely different team. Kind of, I don't want to start comparing Nico to Hendon Hooker, but it was very similar to what we saw in the 2022 season. Just the confidence of the offense really taking place, and just kind of taking no prisoners for the most part. And I'm very excited to see what happens next year. Now, granted, yes, this is a bowl win. We still got a long ways to go. We still got to figure out, what additional transfer portal players we're going to get. Also, I don't want to get too focused on to next year. We're going to win the whole thing. But, this was just a nice, solid foundation of laying what's going on next year. Brad, our founder in the chat, says, all I can say, hello, Nico. Vol Society is going to be a fun season. Get ready. Indeed, get ready. This is going to be, and with college football changing next year, a lot of teams moving to different conferences and super conferences and expanded playoffs. It's going to be different. The competition is going to be more fierce, tougher. But I think if Tennessee, and I mentioned this to Brad in the chat, if Tennessee can get Nico's team around him, get him some solid people around him, and the confidence to build on, this team can make the playoffs next year. You expand to 12 next year. You're going up. You're going to be facing fierce competition week in and week out. But I think Tennessee, I'm not saying they're going to win the whole national championship or the SEC, but I think this team can slide into the playoffs if everything comes together, bearing injury, bearing lack of performance, confidence on the road. I mean, you're going to have to really signify that. And, next year, you got a pretty favorable home schedule next year. Alabama's going to be your toughest home game next year. You do have Florida at home next year. Mississippi State also comes to Neyland Stadium. And then, of course, your cupcake game. So, like I said, you got a pretty nice home schedule. You do have some tough road games. You got to go to Oklahoma next year. Got to go to Arkansas next year, which, I mean, I don't expect that much of a challenge next year. But, just getting that confidence, build back up that we kind of took some shots in at the beginning or throughout the whole season. But a nice, solid game, and looking forward to a nice 2024. And what do y'all think? Like I said, please leave your comments and your questions in the chat room. Like I said, what's your expectations now going forward as we finally put the curtain down on the 2023 season and jump into a new season? Go ahead and get some shout outs. Shout out to Mary Beth. Shout out to Hayden, Lynn, Donna, David, Ron, Ricky, Bobby, and Jennifer. Beverly says, BFL fan here in Alabama. I'm very proud. I agree. If everyone stays out of the portal, we have a chance for a good season. Absolutely. Yeah, we do have one more round of transfer portal coming up right after spring ball. And then we'll find out the rest of the roster. Parker watching us tonight says, glad to see Nico starting. Joe Milton is a great guy, but glad he's gone. And then Ethan says, I believe Nico played better than Milton. And that's I've heard quite a bit of that today. It seemed like Nico, hindsight 2020, probably could have been in a better position than where Milton has been. And we'll see. Phil says, hi, David and Brad. Great win for the Balls. Good building blocks for Volunteers. And Ethan says, surprised with the play of our secondary. Yeah, secondary did a great job today. Probably wasn't challenged much just due to Deacon Hill not having he just did not have a great game at all. 7 for 18, 56 yards, 2 interceptions, QBR of 0.5. That's very bad, obviously. Probably wasn't much of a challenge, but they held their own. Like I said, we got Turretine got an interception. I thought Ricky Gibson did a good job covering. I'm surprised it didn't go to him more, because even the announcer was just saying, well, I think going after, Ricky Gibson, a true freshman, first start, see if you can attack him. But he held his own. Gabe Julie Lally had a good game. And just played fantastic. Bill watching us tonight says DBs played well. Indeed, they did. Let's see if I can get their stats up really quick here. Gabe Julie actually led the team in tackles. With him and T-Lander tied with 5 tackles in the game. Pass deflections. Judy Lally had a pass deflection. So did Elijah Herring, which he's a linebacker, but still, I thought this was a good confidence builder for the defensive backs, especially they have just been right through the coals the last couple of seasons, and this was just a nice, solid showing for them. And not having the guys we've had all year is, really played a big factor. Just not giving up the big plays. Bill says, thanks for the stat. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, indeed. I thought I was very happy for them, and a good foundation to see what's going to happen next year. We'll see what happens with Gay Judy Lally if he wants to come back. Ricky Gibson, obviously, he'll be starting at one of the corner positions, and then some of the young guys, Jordan Thomas. He did get hurt towards the end of the game. I'm sure he'll be fine by the time the season starts again. And then you got the talented freshman Boo Carter, who could be a possible starter next year. So just there's a lot of potential in this secondary, and definitely a complete 180 compared to where we were just a couple of months ago. Just so much potential. Give a shout out to some of our wide receivers. I will go ahead and get the negative out of the way. We did have some drop passes. I mentioned Sampson had one, and then Ramel Keaton, man, he kind of had three bonehead plays a little bit there today. He had a drop catch, and then on the explosive play towards the end zone, lost the ball in the sunlight and kind of quit running. Could have been 42-0, and then had kind of a boneheaded penalty for the most part. But still finished the day 3 catches, 51 yards on the day. Bill says, disregarding the first punt, how about our punting game? Jackson Ross, has really improved from the beginning of the season towards now. Had that beautiful punt, ended up at the 1 yard line, which we end up recovering off a turnover. I'm excited to see what Jackson Ross can do going down the stretch, especially in the next year. And and I think Charles Campbell has a COVID season left, so you'll have your top. If he does come back, I'm pretty sure he will be. You'll have your returning kicker and punter for next year. So your special team's looking very good for Mike Elker's group. We'll see where if D wants to come back next year. If not, I can possibly see Boo Carter probably filling that role, or Squirrel White, or whoever. But that's still a long ways off. Still got to figure that out. But overall, a good job. Trying to see if anything else. McCallum Castles had a touchdown in the game. I should give him a shout out. 1 catch on the day, but hey, went for 18 yards and a touchdown. And Nico's 2 passes in his career at Tennessee have been to McCallum Castles. So there you go there. Nico does become the first freshman since Peyton Manning to win a bowl game. Don't believe what ESPN said. They totally screwed that graphic up, saying Tyler Bray was. That's not true. Peyton won as a true freshman in '94 Gator Bowl, and now Nico becomes the first freshman since Peyton to win that. And very much so. Bill says, I think Ross was determined to show us we have a dang good punter too. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of these Australian punters now make the transition to college football. Tennessee getting on the trend, and like I said, he can punt from both feet. And I've very been impressed with Jackson Ross. There were some growing pains those first couple of games, and then he kind of showed his old self in that first punt. But he's been very consistent, and I think he can have a great career at Tennessee. See here, give a quick shout out to Sean, Joey, Greg, Brooks, Eddie on the Facebook page. Continue those comments and questions. What's your anticipation for 2024? Like I said, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Obviously, I would love to see Tennessee go out next year and just kind of, have shutout wins and dominating wins. But I know that's not going to be the case, obviously. But I just want to see Tennessee continue to lay that foundation in. And Phil mentioned that, good building blocks for the Volunteers. Lay that foundation out and continue to get back to where we were. And like I said, this is a good showing here today. All 3 phases of the game Tennessee dominated in. Get a quick update here. Of course, we got the Rose Bowl going on right now, and Michigan has got a 1st and goal. So I'm trying to see what at the yard line they're at. It's like 1st and goal at the 6. So can Michigan defeat Alabama? You got a minute 44 to go. Anyways, but yeah, just very excited about overall today's performance for the most part. Yeah, just a good solid foundation and going into next year. And when you're and especially going to add some of these transfer portal players in, Chris Brazel, uh, McCoy from Morgan State on the defensive side, and then with the potential target with Evan Stewart from Texas A&M could be coming in. Hey, you're going to be could be a solid team next year. Bill says, "Happy New Year's of all fans. Already have plans to be in Norman on September 21st. Can't wait. That's going to be a great." Great opportunity there, Bill, to see that. Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to be a fun game too, especially next year. I think Oklahoma's going to be a tough challenge. It seems like they've settled in their quarterback with Jackson Arnold next year. Gary watching us on YouTube says, "Do you think the jet sweep with Williams and Squirrel would have offset some of the upfield pressures today versus Iowa?" I think so, a little bit. We've kind of discussed, I know, throughout the season, like putting in D Williams and then maybe using Squirrel as a little gizmo gadget out there on the offense and try to run some design plays. But it seemed like Tennessee really wanted to just focus their attention on Nico, not making too many gizmo gadget plays or trick plays with him. I think they try to keep it simple, but and you saw what Nico did today with the more simple offense and simple playbook compared to what Milton has done. I mean, we saw Nico, yeah, he took some sacks today, had a couple of decision makes they should have not done, but for the most part, he used his athleticism and his awareness and just his IQ is so much better than probably what Milton has, and I just think they just done a great job with that. But as far as next year goes, I could see it maybe happen. And Gary says sacks are better than picks on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely, very much so. Can't believe you ran into Dane Davis like that. But and you're welcome, Gary. Let's see here. Michigan's got a 2nd and goal here. They are at the Alabama 4 trying to take the lead here. And Michigan gets a touchdown on Alabama with 1:34 to go. Wow. At the Rose Bowl, Roman Wilson goes in from 4 yards out from the pass from J.J. McCarty. So y'all are kind of keeping up with that. Of course, I'm probably behind all because I'm on YouTube TV here. But anyways, so very interesting. So now it's 20-19. And they're going to go for the extra point. Okay, cool. Any other questions or comments? Bill says, nice call, Michigan's offensive coordinator. Yeah. And see what they do here on this extra point here. And it's up and good, and we're tied at the Rose Bowl between Michigan and Alabama. Can you imagine if this was Michigan, Florida State, folks? Or it could have been poor Florida State. I'm not gonna bash them too much. I'm just gonna say I think both teams from the Orange Bowl probably should have been in the playoffs, but I think the team that won the Orange Bowl would have probably had a better showing than the playoffs. I'll just say that. Anyways, any other comments or questions about today's game? Appreciate a lot of y'all tuning in later in the evening. We were going to go right live after the game, but I had a late minute commitment to take care of, so moved it up. But I know, like I said, you guys are fantastic and very flexible. I know last year when we did the Orange Bowl post-game show, we were well past midnight doing that. So it's all good in the neighborhood. Let's see here. Give a quick shout out here. Shout out to Tracy leaving us a like on a lot of our shows here. Let's see. Michigan just kicked off and it's gone in the end zone for a touchback, and they're at the 25. All right. As far as what's left ahead for Ball Society going into the new year, as now we're Out of football, we're going into basketball. Tennessee men's basketball team will be back in action tomorrow night against Norfolk State. That will be a 7 o'clock Eastern time tip-off on SEC Network. And then a huge game Saturday in Knoxville as the undefeated Ole Miss Rebels in the top 25 will pay a visit to Tennessee. The Vols men's basketball team, number 5 in the nation in today's AP poll. So Tennessee looking good for a 3-loss team back in the top 5. Good. All right. 1st and 10 for Alabama. Jalen Milroe going to run for a gain of 8. So we'll see if Alabama can make a comeback here in the tie game. I didn't expect this to do a Rose Bowl live watch here. Bama picks up the first down off a pass. Okay. But yeah, it's coming up. Also coming up Friday at noon. Throughout the football season, we had Tailgate Thursday. For college basketball, we're going to do Fast Break Fridays at noon. So we're going to preview the upcoming SEC basketball games for the week. A very quick episode, probably like 5 to 10 minutes, and then a couple of college basketball games that can be a major implication for March Madness down the road. So that's coming up Friday at noon with myself. It's just a quick drive-through episode of All Society Live. Milroe's pass goes incomplete, 2nd and 10, a minute 6 to go. So that's coming up on Friday. And Ball Society Live will continue. Like I said, we'll send the notifications out when we do go live throughout basketball season in that. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on right now. Like I said, just go ahead and we'll start winding it down here. Tennessee, winners of the 2024 Citrus Bowl, defeating Iowa 35-0. Like I said, right across the screen, Nico wins the MVP. Excited to see what happens in 2024. I think we're going to have a fantastic season. Like I said, obviously, I think competition is going to be a lot more fiercer next year compared to what we saw today. And I'm excited to see where Nico and the Vols will go in the future. I mean, this is now Josh Heupel's team. A lot of Josh Heupel's recruits are now going to be playing next year. We are out of the JP era, and now we're focused on the Josh Heupel era, and away we go. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. We'll look at this 3rd and 10 here for Alabama here before we round it up. Michigan stops them on a swing pass out, and that's a pickup of 5. All right, so we'll wind it down. Good night to Bill, and good night to Vol Society. Thank you for tuning in to this post-game show. It was real quick, but hey, a great end to the 2024 season. Thank you, Vol Society. Thank you for tuning in on our Tuesday night shows throughout the season. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful 2024. Please stay positive. Please be nice to each other, kind to each other. And we'll catch you, like I said, back on Ball Society Live throughout the college basketball season and once we get into football season once again. But until next time, this is David Morrison from Vol Society Live. Happy New Year. Go Vols. And we'll catch you next time. Have a great night, everyone.